Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Makakudash, and double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, who rule well, peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful elect. This is your brother Dawah from the Men of Valor Campaign, Greenwood, South Carolina, coming back with another video in sincerity and in truth, and Lord willing, it can be edifying. All right, and this is going to be a financial / economic type video. All right, I'm going to read this article. Explain it, make it plain upon tables, all right, for the edification of the body. All right. But we did videos, a couple months ago when that moratorium on student loan debt, went into basically it got lifted. All right. So for the past like X amount of years, 4 or 5 years, they put a moratorium, meaning you didn't have to pay it at the moment, or there wasn't a penalty for not paying during that time. And they said about 4 to 5 million would instantly go delinquent once that moratorium was up. So we have we have the official numbers. If you're not somebody that wants to deal with the numbers and all that, might want to find another video or something. Go watch some chicks twerk or some shit. But nonetheless, if the spirit is on you to to basically, want to get a better insight to the economic structure, because here's the truth of the matter. America's fucked on all sides, man. All right, America is through. It don't matter what type of way you slice it. Morally, it's through. Economically, it's through. Militarily, it's through. All right, spiritually, it's through as hell. So it's through on all sides. But I like to do videos like this, because when I was in the world, the Lord gave me the spirit to, deal with finance, deal with numbers. All right, deal with the economy. All right, so I see it from that perspective, as well as the spiritual perspective. So Thawadi how about Shema, I'll try for that gift. So I like to share that, when the spirit is on me to, understand, what's going on with, interest rates, what's going on with delinquencies, all right, mortgages and whatnot. And that's what we're dealing with. We're starting to see the numbers come through of people not paying their student loan debt. And it's mostly women, but it's not just, people that just graduated college. All right. See, you have people in their 50s and 60s, all right, damn near supposed to be retired, still paying off student loan debt, or still having to pay off student loan debt. And they're defaulting on their student loan debt. Interesting enough. So let's get into it. I get excited when I see stuff like this. It's just, further proof, all right, that America's on its way out. All right, and that's what we want to see ultimately. That's the patience and the faith of the saints, man. All right, we're waiting patiently, all right, to see America's fall. Now, this big beast of a nation was built. It took several hundred years to bring about, but it's gonna fall in record time, man. And ultimately be destroyed in 1 hour. That's all it's going to take for America, Babylon the Great, for all of this to come to naught. All right. And we see it. You have to visualize it, man. So let's get into it. Now, I'm going to skip around here and there, but Lord willing, it's edifying. This is zeroheads.com. Shocking. Record explosion in student loan delinquencies mark the start of next debt crisis. Okay. It says total household debt rose by 185 billion in the second quarter of 2025. And they want people to lower interest rates. They want the Fed to lower interest rates so you could go into more debt, so you can have the appearance that you're keeping your head above water when really most people aren't. Most businesses will not. And if you're not in the top of the businesses, you're in sad water right now. If you got a small business or you're an employee, even you got people that make over $100,000 a year that are living paycheck to paycheck right now. Because you might make more money, but more than likely, if you went to school, you have student loan debt. If you have a mortgage, you got 2 or 3 cars. All right, you got to pay that. So it's going to break all of that down. And this was part of the manufactured, separation of the 1%, the top elites, and everybody else. And a part of what made them, a part of what they're having to do is they're having to destroy the middle class. Okay, so now you even see the middle class, both lower, middle, and upper middle class, they're also feeling that squeeze. Everybody's feeling that squeeze, man. All right, so it says that total household debt rose by 185 billion in the second quarter of 2025, a 1% rise from Q1 in 2025. Balances now stand at 18.39 trillion and have increased by 4.24 trillion since the end of 2019, just before the pandemic recession. All right, so now they're officially calling it the pandemic recession. All right, so you got some balances. All right, mortgage balances grew by 131 billion during the second quarter and totaled 12.94 trillion at the end of June. All right, we're talking big numbers, and this is debt, man. All right, we're gonna have to get that in Habakkuk, the second chapter. Balances on home equity lines of credit rose by 9 billion, the 13th consecutive quarterly increase. So the debt just keeps going up. There is now 411 billion in outstanding HELOC, or home equity lines of credit balances, 94 billion above the low reached in the first quarter of 2022. Credit card balances rose by 27 billion during the second quarter, and this is just one quarter. All right, the fiscal year is split up into 4 quarters. All right, every 3-4 months. You know, and they do it, and I think the beginning of the fiscal year really actually starts at like the end of December, something like that, if I'm not mistaken. You know, I used to, deal with that shit. But it says 94 billion above the low reached in the first quarter of 2022. So it's like credit card balances rose by 27 billion. So the total is now at 1.221 trillion. Outstanding are 5.87% above the level a year ago. Like I said, it's a lot of numbers. All right, auto loan balances rose by 13 billion. And these are, people that take out auto loans. You got a car payment, and now stand at 1.66 trillion. Other balances, and this is all debt, man. All right, it says other balances, which include retail cards and consumer finance loans, were roughly unchanged at $540 billion. Student loan balances edged up by $7 billion and now stand at 1.64 trillion. In total, non-housing balances increased by $45 billion, 0.09% increase from Q1 2025. All right, so let's go down. So it just gave an outlook. Once again, you got all type of debt. You got student loan debt, you got housing debt, more mortgage debt, you got auto debt, you got credit card debt. All right, so let's continue on. You got foreclosures. Like I said, if you can look up this article, it's a good, it shows the charts, it's showing everything. But I'm getting to the meat of it, dealing with the student loan debt. All right, it says, and while transition in the early delinquency had held steady for nearly all debt types, all right, so the other debt types, the exception was for student loans, which saw another uptick in the rate at which balances went from current to delinquent due to the resumption of reporting of delinquent student loans on credit card or credit reports after nearly 5-year pause due to the pandemic. Okay, so to put that in and to make that plain, out of all the debts, the one that saw the sharpest turn, which we said it was going to happen with the number of delinquencies, was student loan debt, because of that pause being lifted. Student loan delinquencies have been on the rise since the beginning of the year, after the government ended Biden's year-long payment freeze, which we covered. As the charts below show, transition rates into serious delinquency, defined as 90 or more days past due, were largely stable for auto loans and credit cards, although both were elevated compared to previous years, edged up slightly for mortgages and HELOCs, and absolutely exploded higher for student loans, as the share of student loan debt entering serious delinquency was 12.9%, the highest in 21 years of data. So, the numbers aren't lying. People not paying. On top of all this other debt, these people are having to balance credit card debt, because these people think, you would look at these people and think that they're out here living, especially Esau, but they're living off debt. Okay, the cars that they have, the houses that they have, they owe the bank, and the bank can come in and take that shit. And ultimately, it will. They will. All right, you people are about to lose everything, and if not, Trump's executive orders can come and cash you out of your houses, and that's biblical. Right? That's prophecy that, hey, these people are going to be cast out of their houses. Their houses are going to be spoiled by what these, militaries and whatnot. All right, and also private militias, and also by your neighbors. It says, in fact, as one can clearly see, there has never been such a catastrophic deterioration in student loans in U.S. history across borrowers of virtually all ages, but especially those 50 and over. That's important, because guess what? They have children that they're sending off to school too. These are these damn boomers, boomers and I guess the peak of the beginning of Generation X. All right, so they supposed to be getting ready for retirement, and guess what? They have children that's in their teens or early 20s or going to school, or if not, they help them go to school. So if the ones that are over 50 and up, if they're defaulting on their student loan debt, what's going to happen? It's going to trickle down. All right, because they have debt. They have stuff that's tied to their children, and the children have stuff that's tied to the parents. So this is a big clusterfuck, man. All right, everybody's starting to slowly panic. Yeah, they're trying to mask this as, whatever, but people are panicking, man. All right, people are stressed. People are starting having to think about money in ways that they didn't think about it before. All right, because of how this economy is shaping. And we haven't even included how these tariffs are going to start kicking people in their asses, man. All right, let's keep going. It says the record surge in delinquency suggests American households, especially those with student loans, are facing increasingly financial distress this year amid highest interest rates and a slowdown in hiring. So this is all prophecy. All right, let's get some of this. So people are lamenting and mourning right now. All right, if they're not doing it outwardly, they're definitely doing it and murmuring inwardly. So let's get this right here. This is Isaiah chapter 24. And I'll start at verse 5. The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant. And Esau's defiled the world, man. Right? GMO everything. Verse 6, therefore have the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men left. The new wine mourneth, the vine languisheth. All the merry-hearted do sigh. And that's what we're beginning to see. All the merry-hearted, those that are all, jolly and shit. Lord willing, you people don't celebrate Christmas this year. Lord willing, y'all don't have the fucking money. All right, but everybody be all happy-go-lucky all the time. All right, when you start touching people money, all right, they start having a sour-ass look in their face, man. Okay? Verse 8, the mirth of tabrets ceaseth, the noise of them that rejoice endeth, the joy of the harp ceaseth. They shall not drink wine with a song. Strong drink shall be bitter to them that drink it. So what are we seeing? People gonna turn to their different devices, all right, but it's not gonna cope the pain, man. It's not. All right, looking to drink and because brothers, we have different things. You will have a drink and whatnot, to take off the edge. All right, but we're not trying to escape. We're ultimately not trying to escape this reality. We're walking through it. We continuing on. We have the patience to wait on the Lord. Okay, we've been in the same pretty much financial boat as you people. If not worse. All right, but guess what? We're in a time where the Lord is about to start blessing His men. We ain't about to be out here just through as hell like y'all. All right, being evicted, losing our cars. We went through that. We suffered loss. All right, but we obviously are in the time where the Lord is starting to shake things up. And He's bringing the powers of Babylon the Great down. And He's exalting His men that have been serving Him. These are the times that we're in. All right, verse 10, the city of confusion is broken down. What's the city of confusion? America, Babylon the Great. Because Babel means confusion. This is the land of confusion, the city of confusion. Every house is shut up that no man may come in. There's a crying for wine in the streets. There's going to be a crying for understanding. Why is this happening? Why is this going on? All joy is darkened. The mirth of the land is gone. So yeah, you people have your bread and circus, your college football, your NFL, your NBA, your MLB, your NHL, your golf, your soccer, all these different, your hockey. But the Lord is going to take all that away. Okay, the mirth of the Lord is going to strip the mirth from the land very soon. Verse 12, and the city is left desolation, and the gate is smitten with destruction. So, man, that's what we're seeing. All right, this article is very much proof of that. And there was something else I wanted to grab. Let's see. Yeah, you people are distressed, man. Let's grab this in Habakkuk since I mentioned it. Habakkuk chapter 2, going right to the point. Verse 6. Shall not all these take up a parable against them, and a taunting proverb against them, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. All right, those numbers that I was just spitting out a couple minutes ago, those were all debt numbers. How much people owe, not own. It's not net worth, because your net worth is really just what you own outright and what you owe, your assets versus your liabilities. All right, liabilities are like your house, your car, shit like that. You know, assets will be if you got stocks, if you got bonds, but see, the Lord is going to take all of that away very soon, man. Okay. So these devils, and you can't build a nation off of debt. The kingdom of heaven won't be built off of debt. All right, because who are these countries? Who are you Americans? Who is the country? Who is the world in debt to? The elites. All right, they control the money. You know, so they got y'all in a conundrum, and they're going to collapse this system, and they're going to introduce left-handed salvation by way of the micro C-hip, man. That's going to be the ultimate solution. Your money's going to be there, your health documents. All right, it's going to be your new way of life. All right, but that's going to be the major spark, you know, the major sign that, hey, we're absolutely in the end. After that's made mandatory, the nukes can fly any day after that, man. It's all up to the Lord. All right, but let's get back into this. It says the record surge in delinquencies suggests American households, especially those with student loans, are facing increasing financial distress this year amid high interest rates and a slowdown in hiring. Oh, that's what I wanted to get. Isaiah the 19th chapter. All right, it's a hiring slowdown. All right, and also you can get Ecclesiastes chapter 12. Let's grab this in Isaiah the 19th chapter and going down to verse 14. The Lord Yahweh have mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit. All right, so Egypt is failing. All right, it's enchantments. All right, the little shit he's doing on the left-hand side, it ain't working no more, man. All right, you look like a drunken man that's staggering in his vomit. You look like you in your mind, you got it shit all together. Especially these small hats. You're being exposed even by AI, man. Verse 15, neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which the head or tail, branch or rush may do. So not only are you dealing with owing more, but you're also dealing with people not being able to find jobs. You have an entire undergraduating class that are stepping into the job market, and there's no jobs because all of your jobs are being replaced by AI. All right, verse 16, in that day, so these days that we're approaching, shall Egypt be like unto women, and it shall be afraid and fear because of the shaking of the hand of the Lord of hosts, which he shaketh over it. So the Lord is in control of this. The Lord is shaking the powers that be here. The Lord is shaking up you people's lives. All right. Don't shoot the messenger. We're just making it plain upon tables. It's the Heavenly Father that's doing it. And what you going to do against him? Nothing. Because your soul, ultimately, all of you, your souls belong to him. He controls whether you live or die. He controls whether you wake up, all right, in the morning. He is greatly to be feared, man. So going back. It says recent data showed consumer spending fell in the first 6 months of 2025, even before tariffs started to boost prices. All right, that's another thing. So consumerism is going to be way, 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 way down when the price of just bullshit goes up for no reason. Because Trump did this, you know, he said, well, we need to put America first, which everybody is seeing as bullshit because you have something like the BRICS that has been created where it's giving everybody a more even footing. But America's like, nah, nigga, we want to reign supreme over all you fucking people. All right, but these nations ain't going for that now. So, Trump has imposed a damn tariffs on all these different countries. He's even trying to put more tariffs on those that deal with Russian oil. Well, where are they going to get oil from? All right. Americans ain't going to sell them fucking oil. I mean, they get it from the Middle East or something, But it says, while transitions into delinquencies is the start of the bankruptcy pipeline, the end is also getting busier. About 131,000 customers had a bankruptcy notation added to their credit report in Q2, an increase from the previous quarter. Expect this number to explode once all those student loan delinquencies transition to defaults in a few months, at which point the student loan crisis becomes front and center. So this is what's coming up down the pipe, man. So you have, a number of them that are delinquent, meaning they're late. All right, and then you're going to have them, go full-on failure. All right, they haven't paid it. And that number, they saying that expect that number to explode. So that's affecting the mass majority of you people. And once again, this isn't just your person that's in their mid-20s that just graduated. No, these are people that have been working for months and years. All right, these are these people that they 45, 50. These are your career women. So we see it. It says dramatic deterioration will be another factor forcing the Fed to cut rates in September. Last week, Fed Chair Jerome Powell said of delinquency rates, essentially, you have a consumer that's in good shape and is spending, though admittedly not at a rapid rate. Actually, turns out the consumer, when it comes to student loans, is now broker than ever. Jerome Powell even said that. Those are the keepers of the house, man. They're trembling. That's why he don't want to cut interest rates, because he's going to have to bring them shits back up again. People are defaulting on their debts. So why would you make, shit easier for them to access, man? Nah, they about to let this shit go, man. All right, through the spirit, they might not even cut rates again, and you people are just about to suffer. It says in a briefing with reporters, New York Fed researchers said student loan delinquencies will likely continue to rise, eventually returning to pre-pandemic levels. Between late 2012 and early 2020, the share of student student debt that was seriously delinquent ranged between 10.7% and 11.8%. This quarter's flow of household debt into serious delinquency was mixed across debt types, with credit card and auto loans holding steady, student loans continuing to rise, and mortgage ended up slightly. Joel Scaley, the economic policy advisor at the New York Fed, said in a press release, underplaying the clearly catastrophic surge in student debt delinquencies, and soon defaults which will result in tens of millions of consumers suddenly finding themselves carved out from the U.S. consumer economy, just as the student loan crisis goes from front and center. All right, that student loan, that shit, it's on your credit. It's on your credit. So your ability to get homes, your ability to get cars, your ability to have a credit card will be tied to this student loan debt, and the number of delinquencies and defaults are just going higher and higher, man. That's basically what we got from this article. So it's bad, man. This is horrible for you people, and they're not providing any solution, not yet anyway. All right, you people are about to suffer, man. You people are about to suffer. Let's finish off here. Where we at? Jeremiah chapter 51 and verse 5. It says, "For Israel have not been forsaken, nor Judah of his power, and the Lord of hosts." The Lord is not forgotten about his people. All right, we have to remember, and just take a step back. The Lord is doing all of this. All right, he's making these nations go to war. He's got Esau doing what he's doing so that we can be delivered ultimately, so that we can finally rule. These things must happen. They must come to pass. All right. Though their land was filled with sin against the Holy One of Israel. Yeah. All right. But now we're in the time where the Lord is about to show his mercy. All right. On divine levels. Verse 6. "Flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity. For this is the time of the Lord's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense." And that's why we've departed spiritually from this place. It doesn't mean get up and go get a ticket and go to Africa somewhere. No. All right, we've departed from this place as far as like trying to build here. All right, we do enough to get our daily bread. Brothers got different hustles and stuff like that. They do. Cool. But at the end of the day, we're all ready to walk away from this, man. All right, as opposed to these people. Everything is tied up in the success of America, which is why they frown their face up when we tell them that, Yes, this place that you hold so dear is about to be destroyed. Okay? And when we declare it, the Lord is justified in bringing it to pass. He said, what? The former things will come to pass and new things do I declare before they spring forth. I tell you of them. How does the Lord speak? Through his prophets. And that's why you hate us, man. Because we bring it out. And every brother isn't eloquent in his speech. Every brother isn't the smartest or necessarily the wisest. Some brothers are rough around the edges, but the spirit of prophecy is rested upon them. But you also have brothers that, that go into different things. Like, hey, the spirit is on me to be able to understand what they're speaking about, what the keepers of the house are speaking about. Interest rates and delinquencies and, because they don't teach Jake financial literacy. All right. That was a big thing that, made me want to get into business because, they just want to show Jake with chains on, Jake invested. Now, that's part of our heritage, of course. It's in us. But, what about, portfolios? What about stocks? What about, you should have certain Jakes that do that. But for the most part, it ain't nothing but nigger culture that's promoted here. All right. So we've been commanded to depart from this place spiritually. Micah 2:10, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. Why? Because it is polluted. It shall destroy you even with a sword destruction. And we see that. Look at Lil Wayne. All right, he's supposed to be like the epitome of so-called black success. That nigga look like all his hair is falling out. Hyped up on drugs and shit. All right, Jake just dying. Jake in jail. All right, here it is. You famous. You still getting arrested. You got money. You still getting arrested. That ain't sovereignty. You a rich slave, nigga. All right, we want to be true sovereigns, man. Verse 7, it says, Babylon had been a golden cup in the Lord's hand. Right, it fulfilled its purpose. It became the economic power of the world. All right, pinned to the petrodollar, which now nations ain't even trying to deal with the petrodollar. All right, it ascended to the very top of the military, powers. It did it. All right, it sat on the throne. It pushed forth this bullshit philosophy, and exalting women over the men. All right, it's creeped into even so-called Middle Eastern nations, man. It's crept into Chinese culture. Man, China is dealing with the same dating bullshit that America's dealing with. All right, there's a language barrier, and we don't, Americans don't really care about the Chinese, but there's a show or a damn YouTube that I watched, and they was going into the fact that the women outnumber the men 50-1 there. 50-1. All right, but, there's so many of them that's single. Because they still in that one man, one woman bullshit too. And that's why we don't really got to, trip on these women, Akim, because the Lord got them out there, man. All right. These are the lowest quality women, out here. The ones that are so easily accessible, so don't get bent out of shape, because we ain't necessarily accessing these women right now. The Lord has better prepared for us. Okay. Ultimately, sometimes a man got an itch he needs scratched through the spirit, and the Lord, the Lord hearkens unto it. But, for the most part, man, these women ain't hitting no shit, man. All right, they in student loan debt. They losing their housing vouchers. They losing their food stamps. They're losing their support system, man. So, yeah, they about to come back begging. All right, yeah, they about to come back begging. But going back, verse 7, it says, Babylon had been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Exactly. The philosophy of this place, man. All right, it's seeped in there everywhere. It's polluted the whole fucking world, man. So change has to come. Verse 8, Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Because it's going to seem like it happened suddenly, man. Which, once again, 1 hour will this place come to naught. But we're seeing the rapid deterioration of America and its framework on a day-to-day level. This is not some normal shit for Trump to be getting on the internet every day, just popping shit. That's not, the president used to stand up, address the nation, people tuned in, and the words of the president meant something. This nigga just be babbling, won't release the Epstein list. People know he's on the Epstein list, all type of shit. So America's just through on all sides. Trump is a perfect example of America's throughness, man. All right. Verse 8 again, Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her, take balm for her pain, if so be she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. forsake her, and let us go everyone into his own house. Or it's like his own country. For her judgment reacheth unto heaven and is lifted up even to the sky. See, America was that melting pot. You know, all these nations came here for commerce and trade. It was the land of opportunity. All right, but now they're about to go back to their own lands, man. Like, fuck this shit. You know, they got bricks set up, so, you know. But they're all going to centralize under a new order anyway, so it don't even matter. You know, they just transitioning from G7. You know, now G7 has a counterpart, so to speak, in bricks. Well, but not to make this too long, you know, Lord willing is edifying as well as exhorting. I wanted to bring out this information, but student loan debts, man, you know, their delinquencies and defaults are about to explode. I'll figure out what the title of this video, you know, after I close out. But with that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Makakudash, and double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, who rule well. Peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful elect. Till next time, Shalom.